3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, everybody. How the devil are you? I will start with an apology and apologise for the lateness of our arrival. We were just basically putting the world to rights before we came on. So,
Brad was talking about Samare.
he can't be put to rights.
No, he can't.
He is the footballer who came with no instructions, and when it did, it was never in the language you understood. But good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, wherever you are, welcome along. This is the debate show. I think this one could get quite lively. If you're watching live, remember, subscribe, like the video, and share. If you're watching on catch-up, you can do the same. And if you're watching, or listening, I should say, via your favourite podcast platform, muchas gracias, penis. Or as they say, thanks, cock. First of all, let's get. We'll get our regular in first because I think that's only fair. Steve, how the devil are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Chris. It's nice to be a regular. I turn up every week in, week out, even on a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. But it's nice to be here, and I'm looking forward to, in about sort of, 25 minutes time, spending the next 40 minutes talking about Samare and Wout Fast. So we look forward to that.
It will be there. Just remind me, the gentleman in red. So what's your name?
It's Steve's knobhead, and he's on my left-hand side. Or Chris is see you next Tuesday for sure. It's Brad, mate. It's Brad.
I'm glad you've updated your name tag anyway.
Yes, I noticed that I had a right strap on stream.
I can't imagine it'll be good having that on the back of your shirt for Leicester, though. If Steve is a knobhead and Chris.
Mate, I actually have to wear two shirts to have the full length of that name on there.
Anyway, it would be worse, wouldn't it, though, Brad, if you had Rudkin on the back of your shirt? I mean, who'd be up to do that?
For a beating, wouldn't I? I'd have a beat abuse, wouldn't I?
What idiot would do that?
Oh, well. Who would? The funny thing is that Brad hates to be called Bradley, and one day during the show I changed his name tag to Bradley, and I don't think he noticed for about 6 shows or something like that.
I don't know when you did it, but one show I literally noticed it was in the first 4 minutes, and I was like, no, I'm not having this. I don't know how long it's been here for.
It was up for a couple of full shows, I'll tell you.
I guess if you take out the T, it would spell out Bradley anyway. It's Brad LTID. If you take off the T, it'd be Brad LI. So
yeah, no, that's a good point.
It would be Bradley TV, which sounds like sounds like you're saying it in a different language, doesn't it?
It does. And I apologise for the smallness of my guests who are sat underneath me. It's like that diagram in it where the bird's on the top shitting on everybody below. But unfortunately, I've got to say that StreamYard have been stop looking up my trousers. Stop it, Steve. But if I do need a dump, I'll aim it to the left a bit. Unfortunately, StreamYard have been extremely naughty just recently. They've been changing everything round. the comments on the right-hand side were bigger, and I've had to reset everything. And I forgot to set a 3-person screen, and this was the quickest I could do. Look, I've tried to put it off. I've tried to sort of talk about everything. You know, we had politics before we came live, but we've got to talk about the football. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, I know.
Chris, I'm leaving you to do it. I didn't come back for football talk.
Well, you don't usually talk football, mate.
I know, I'm only going 20 minutes off screen, don't give you the answer in one word to your actual question.
I've got to say, hi to Blue Fox and hi to Ronald. Welcome along. Do get in joining in the comments. They will appear in the bottom right, as you can see. Look, I put that out earlier. Match review. Crisis ahead. Everybody's Steve has been going mad at the weekend. You were on the post match reaction, going back to your car after the match. I know your rule is 3 down and you walk out, but how close were you at that? Because you weren't a happy man on the post match.
So I left 10 minutes before the end. Because I saw that there was an earlier train, and I thought, I'm getting that. I ain't staying like behind. And according to Jack, they got delayed an hour at the ground waiting to get out into a train. So luckily, I made the right choice in getting out when I did. I left the game very angry. You can see by my tweets and my comments in your chat that I wasn't very happy at all, calling for the manager to go. And then I had some food and I slept on it. And I woke up the next morning and I made the realization that actually, it's a bit short-sighted. He's a small cog in a broken machine, and realistically, sacking the manager won't do any good. It's down to the players and the people, above the manager itself. So, a full sort of 180 over the weekend, which was a weird situation. It was like whiplash, really. And my wife was at work. I was meant to get a Chinese on the way home. We were going to get a Chinese to cheer me up, and then I found out that no, actually she'd been called into work, so I couldn't have a Chinese. So I got a depressing McDonald's on the way back instead.
Oh, nothing worse than a depressing McDonald's doggy burger that when you hold it flips over the end, and the crisps are no longer crispy.
Yeah, exactly. Just before we talk about the Millwall game, I don't know if you're going to mention it today or not, Chris, but obviously it's a 7-year anniversary of the passing of Vichai tonight, and it will happen. Well, I mean, it's the anniversary today, and obviously, we've had the rippling effect. It's still going on today. The obviously losing the owner and the steward of the club, and just wanted to say that our hearts go out to the family and friends still after this horrible situation. And as much as we look, a lot of Leicester fans will have a go at Top for the running of the club. I said in a previous episode with you about Top and stuff, I'd imagine he finds it very difficult to go back to the place where his dad dies. His dad had died, every other week. Please, let's take that into account when we're bashing potential owners later on, because I've got some choice words to say still. But I just wanted to say that obviously it's still a sad situation, and rest in peace to those that lost their lives.
Well said, sir. Well said. I did put a tweet out earlier. I have to say, we're not going to be talking about ownership or potential ownership in this show. We do have a very interesting one, hopefully, if we can get somebody on it, coming up on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. But I agree 100%. Brad, I mean, is it a crisis, or is everybody panicking too soon? I mean, we've lost 3 games, we're sat in 10th, and I will still say, give me that at the start of the season and after last season, and a bit in your hand off.
Don't think it's a crisis just yet. I think this right now is a case of Dad's army. Don't panic, Mr. Manning. Don't panic. That's what we need. We need someone coming in to calm it, because people are losing their heads a little bit. I know the segment I'm actually here for, that me and Steve normally do, where we talk tactics and players, where I'll address that a little bit more. I don't think we need to be thinking about Marty leaving, considering what the guy decided to do commitment-wise to the club. We need a manager like that. The crisis only starts to happen if in 5 games' time we're still winless and we're 12 points, 13 points off the playoffs. Right now, win on Saturday, results go away, we're back up to 4th, I believe, or maybe even 3rd. I'm not too sure how many. I think we're like 1 or 2 points
No,
now.
I think we got to 6th. I think we're just I think it's up above
Yeah.
So whoever's
That's
in 6th.
assuming everybody else loses, of course.
Yeah, but again, it's not like we're talking we're 10th and 7 points off the playoffs.
No.
We've had results be worse elsewhere. I mean, the big diplomat of the 3 clubs coming down having a shocking start. So we're not the only club that's maybe not living up to expectations right now either. Let's just ride the storm and let the players and the manager respond with results going forward. And then we'll see what happens in 3 games' time.
I mean, look, 1-0. It's still, and then I've got past the, well, this is still like a pre-season for him because we have got past that now. But, you know, we and I've often said this, you know, we had a shit team last year. We've taken that shit team this year and sold off the best of the shit. So we're left with the worst of the shit. Marty's doing his best to polish that. But it obviously doesn't always, you know, shine, unfortunately. He's got 4 players in. One of them's now out for quite a few weeks, who's very, very good. There's another one that's very, very good when he's played in the right position. We've got a goalkeeper that we bought that, as usual with Leicester, I think is injured when we bought him and we've not seen hide nor hair of him, even on the subs bench. And a striker who, as the proverbial saying goes, couldn't score in a brothel. So he has to be given a bit of leeway, doesn't he?
He does. So I made this point yesterday morning that effectively he had 1 day in the transfer window to make signings. No matter how good you are as a manager, on the last day of the transfer window, bringing players in and then those players buggering off to international duty in JJ's case, it's not going to work well off the bat. And you know, Carranza, I think he does speak English, which is good, and obviously Ramsey can speak English. So yeah, you'd hope so. You'd hope so. So you know that's not ideal situation to be in. And yeah, it was a squad that was all over the place in regards to who was going to stay and who was going to go. And I made the point last week, Chris, when we were chatting about the young players, and you mentioned it after the post show. Was
that the week when Brad wasn't in, or one of the weeks when Brad wasn't in?
Yes, yeah. I think he was busy. I don't know if he was doing like trapeze walking or something like that, but it was, you know, not far away, is what I'm told. You know, the issue for me, and this is what I am very critical of the manager for, is the fact that if you're going to stifle young players' development like Ben Nelson by having Walt Fass on the bench, who is not going to be here in maybe not even January, it could be the summer, it could be January at this point. You know, there are young lads in the youth system that needs development, that need football to develop, and you know these players have signed contracts, and it's almost like they've gone, here's the contract, sign it, we're going to play you, and then off you go. That's over there now. You're going to stay over there for a bit, which I think is a bit disingenuous if that is the case, but I don't think it is. No. So my main issue with Marty is not the fact that we're losing games, because look, we've only lost 3 games all season. It just happened to be 2 in a row, and I happen to be at both of them, which is really annoying. It's more of the fact that we've got players at the club that come January, that these players that are out of contract, like Winks, Samare, Daka, I don't think they're going to put the effort in because they don't want to get injured, because they want to get a big signing bonus when they leave in the summer. So yeah, my main issue is, sorry, I completely forgot the question you asked me. I went on a tangent all by myself.
He's done the blood.
but it's like
What is enough? I don't need to.
But yeah, I just think he's making decisions that are a bit strange. But I think it's way too early for us to say get the manager out, because he's only had 1 transfer window. He's not had a time to move players in and out.
Indeed, you know, it was a bit of a Brad way of answering the question. But have you ever thought about going into politics?
No, I would hate it.
But as Blue Fox says there, we mustn't forget, and I'm not going to butcher the names, there's 3 other ladies and gentlemen that also crashed and passed away in the helicopter. We mustn't forget them as well. Carol says here, Brad, it wasn't a bad result. We can't win every game, obviously. And I'm going to throw something back at you that you usually throw at me, which is the old Scooby-Doo scenario. You know, at the end of Scooby-Doo, they pull the mask off and, it was the janitor. It was always the janitor. Are we going to, at the end of the season, take March's hat off and it's Ruud van Nistelrooy under there? Because I said this was the most Ruud-like, I think I possibly said this against Hull, but, we've had a couple of games where it's just been like Ruud, and, Ruud wouldn't try the youngsters, wouldn't try anything else. These are the players we've got.
I see where you're coming from, but no, I don't agree with you. Shock horror. But just because he does genuinely on the pitch try something. Now, I know against Hull, I think it was Hull anyway, Bobby came on, he's got injured. Now Ramsey's got injured. I mean, I know there's a few injuries. I agree with the youth thing. Why give it all that and then never play them? I don't understand, apart from Mongo, because obviously pitchforks would be out if he didn't. But he does try new things, and sometimes, and of course, it's what he gets paid to do. He has a plan. He makes an idea. He gets to Thursday and he gets told, Gaffer, so-and-so's pulled a muscle and so-and-so's actually not quite match fitness. And he goes, I planned for that, and now I've got to think of something for tomorrow to how we're going to go about it. But he does at least mix things up. He changes the shape. He goes for a different dynamic. And against Millwall, that cliche that he got 3 at the back and 5 in midfield. He worked that 2 ways. He showed that. He still went for it against Millwall, obviously, because we were losing the game. But he's already showed earlier in the season that when we're winning a game, he's not afraid to go to that, but put it in a defensive way. I've watched where that mic's moving. That looks, yeah. Anyway, but my point is, he does make them changes. I'm sure them opportunities will come for these players because we've got injuries now, and we've got, in a few weeks' time, we will need them more than ever because we'll be worse off than Premier League clubs playing through December.
Well, I'm going to side a little bit with Steve here, mainly because he's been here every week for me. But what I'm going to say is, when you look at Iheanacho, when we signed Iheanacho, it was getting them in every week for Man City, etc. He got 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And when we needed him, it took him quite a few games to get up to, match fitness, match readiness, if you like, Brad. So when we're talking about these players, they may get their opportunity later in the season. If come January, a fairy lands and goes, yes, you can sell all your shit players and loads of people are coming in for them, we're going to have players that aren't match ready.
Yeah, and then that's where you need to find that balance through. I mean, I saw the team.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, why aren't we seeing them now on the subs bench getting it? Because we've got no reserve team, so it literally is under 21 straight into there.
Yeah, it is, but that's where the dynamic of the under-23s has developed. And I know it's not the same, going from the under-23s to playing against, experienced full professional footballers. I understand that. But the mentor of your under-18s, under-20s used to be, let's just give them a game. It's like taking them to the park on a Saturday. But, if they're any good, they'll shine out. Now it's train, tactic, formation and play exactly like the first team manager has. So they come in there with a bit of a head start compared to how they did in the earlier days in the 90s to 2000s, where the youth system wasn't really that spectacular. The flux and growth of youth talents coming through has come through because of the change in football, of modern football, that the youth managers are told, play to your team. So let's say Ranieri played counter-attacking football. The under-23s coach, you're playing counter-attacking football.
I'm sure Mark is doing that as well, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they can drop down to that level and get 45 minutes, 60 minutes, because, as we know, Chris, they are legal.
It's still not the same. I'm going to ask the same question to Steve. Exactly the same question, mate. These players playing against, other under 21 teams or playing in friendlies pre-season when nobody wants to get hurt or whatever they need to be on the bench and being given time now. Because as they come January, if we do manage to get rid of Wout Faes, who can we bring in? Well, we've got a Coley, obviously, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think the club need to be thinking more long-term than short-term in this scenario. And having somebody like a Luco, Ben Nelson, Louis Page, even Jake Evans as well, who I know he's only sort of 15, 16. Oh, no, 17, is he? Because he's on a new contract. So, having these people around the first team and being on the bench is going to be better long-term for the club than it is having Wout Faes, Daka, these sort of players on the bench who are not going to be here come the summer. And if you look at the way, so if you bring them through now and they have 6 months of, 45 minutes, 20 minutes here, whatever, they're going to learn so much more as a professional than they will do against the under-23s because the quality is just not the same at all. You look at the League Two sides and League One sides that face these Premier League academies in the Mickey Mouse Cup, the Johnson Pay Trophy or whatever it's called nowadays. Not a single academy team has won that trophy as far as I'm aware. And they're only in the competition to come up against professional teams. So doubling back to long-term thing is that in a year's time, in 18 months' time, the players that we've got now that are in the youth academy are going to be the players that we have to sell to satisfy potential PSR issues to have a transfer budget. Whereas having somebody like Samare and Daka and Faes who are just taking up wages, who, let's be honest, they, as much as they are trying on the pitch, they don't care if we win or lose. Well, Faes clapped the fans and turned around and walked off on Saturday, from what I've been told. And also, I think the manager would have a lot less angry fans at him if we had younger players, because you give them a bit more of a leeway, don't you? You go, well, they're only young. And if you accept that we're going to be in the Championship next season, then accept that. Play the youth players. But I guess the issue there is that the club wanted to get promoted.
Right.
No matter what.
We're going to move on because we're actually going to need to start talking about the match at some point. You do have a dictionary today, haven't you? Scott says there, if Faes leaves in January, Suter's immediate replacement. If he's match fit, it's November/December, and where's he going to get the game time to become match fit?
Where the hell is he? I haven't heard the blokes. I haven't heard about the bloke since he played against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup about 4 years ago.
Well, he's had an ACL, isn't he? So, the issue with ACLs, as you found with Ramsey this week, is that if you get an ACL, the next likely injury is you get a hamstring injury, and that's what will happen to Suter. He's not very fast though, so I don't think he will. Interesting
point here, just before we move on to the match. Leicester City bringing ex-Barcelona analyst as prospect takes stride. So we're actually bringing in Brad. I'm not going to try and butcher his name. In fact, I can't even find him, and this only just popped up for me. But we're bringing in an analysis.
What does that entail? Does that mean he just analyses the game and says, "Yeah, this was good, this was bad"? Because if that's the case, Marty should know that. I need to know a bit more about what he's actually analysing. Is he analysing training, looking at fitness levels? Give me that info then.
Starting as a video analyst at Barcelona under Luis Enrique, Martinez then worked with manager Pablo Manchin as he took jobs at Girona, Seville and Espanyol. He then linked up with Roberto Moreno at Monaco as an analyst, following him to Granada before taking up with Machin again, this time as assistant manager at Elche. Martinez has been spotted at the training ground with Cifuentes and as assistant Xavi Calm, while he travelled with the squad to Hull and Millwall this past week, watching on from the stands.
God, I'd like to see what his first report was going to be. It's just the word shit on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Again, though, what is he being asked to analyse? Is he being asked to analyse?
Oh, we won't know, will we? Nobody will know that. But
assuming he's looking at the thing as a whole and then giving him like a PowerPoint presentation, if you will, he's probably turning around. It's good to have an eye in the sky, as I'd say. So maybe something that Marty can't quite see, where something's maybe going wrong, he can go, that fucking Harry Winks is a lazy fuck. That's why it's going wrong, Marty. Or, Samare's useless, get him out of this team. A bit like what Terry did with Soyuncu. I know that was more a coach role, but he might go, the reason this part of your plan isn't working, Marty, is because so-and-so and so-and-so aren't doing the job right, and that's where it's going wrong. So it could be good, Chris. I mean, he's worked under some prestige people, and look what they've won. So if you want to say all the staff play their part in achieving silverware, Barcelona, I'm happy for it.
Right. Well, here's the starting 11. Steve, your thoughts when you first saw the starting 11?
There was only one player that I picked out that I was like, oh, that's still a weakness, and that's Luke Thomas. Actually, I was okay with the starting 11, mainly because of the fact that, look, as much as we dislike Ayew with the fact that he drops deep, he's probably our best striker still at this point, and he can score.
He's a top goal scorer out the strikers.
Exactly, yeah, with one, which is a bit depressing to say out loud. But so overall, I would say that was probably one of our better lineups.
Would you shook your head there, Brad? I mean, I agree. Ayew wouldn't be my first choice, but he's out of what we've got, he's probably first choice. At least he has scored a goal. Your thoughts on that? And did you think your reaction when Luke Thomas's name was mentioned?
Yeah, it's just dead weight to us. He doesn't seem to. He seems to just poo himself every time he goes forward. Because look, I'm guessing there was an injury to VK. And I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, but you've got to play to your strengths in what you're trying to do. And the reason Monga and Mavididi both end up getting bullied and isolated on that left-hand side is because without VK on there, the nearest support option he has is 35 yards, scratching Stolarczyk's back to make sure he's nice and comfortable, because he's nowhere near in the support, and you don't want that in the system Marty's playing. My only concern is, and maybe this is something that Ramsey's injury, unfortunate as it is, could potentially bring onto it, is I'd have actually have Carranza on there and just had him play the line of their centre-backs, because if you're going to have someone like Ayew go back and fetch the ball, what better thing do you need? You need someone putting a ball in that gap in the channel, or Ramsey to be high up and press it forward quickly behind that defensive line. Carranza's got a head to nod it on or flick it on. If you work that out into a better system, I feel like you've got something from Carranza that you get from Jordan Ayew, because Jordan Ayew seems to get told, if it's not going to come through the middle, can you go out to the left, because Luke Thomas needs a diaper change because he's pooed himself again. Can you go and out Monga out on the left, please? And we've got no one centrally. We had no one centrally by the looks of things from what I was able to see of the game. And I think Carranza, stay in the middle, stay there. You're going to get more attack come through him.
Are you though, Steve? He had one shot in 60 minutes against Hull.
Correct. Yeah, no, he wasn't good. He wasn't good. And when he came on, he had one opportunity to score, and he blasted it over the bar with a bicycle kick. So, but that was probably the highlight, actually, seeing a bicycle kick for the first time in a while.
Hey, it was a bad bicycle kick. Give him that. Come on.
Yeah.
But are we playing him wrong as well, Steve? Sorry to interrupt. Are we playing him wrong? Because I've just described him as a target man, and all I see him doing is dropping back. Surely he's a last shoulder sort of bloke that you play it over the top. He maybe flicks it on. The goalkeeper's caught short, and he runs onto it. Does a dare say the words Jamie and Vardy? He goes, "Thank you very much."
So the main issue. So I spoke to a couple of QPR fans a few weeks ago, and they said the main issue with Cifuentes is that his strikers don't score goals. His goals come from the midfield and the wingers. And it's happened again this season. Like, our strikers look so isolated because I don't think we have a striker that fits his system. I don't think Daka can do it as much as he can run around all day and press to an extent. I don't think Carranza can do it because he needs a full run in the side to get going. And I don't think he's going to get that at this level. And then we've got Jordan Ayew, who just drops deep and he just doesn't lead the line at all. So at this point, I think the jury's out on everybody still in that sense. I would actually say drop all of them and play Mavididi up front at this point, because at least, he can press and he's got a trick. He might just stay up there and score a goal.
Fair point. And here's the match day squad, Brad. I'm worried because this was the team that we would have shouted out for bar maybe 1 or 2 last week. We got it this week, and we were no better.
No, in fact, I would say we were more at it especially in that second half. Obviously, because the first half was just dead, but we were more at it against Hull than we ever were against Millwall. I mean, I ended up having to watch it on my phone, and when I had to go to my dad's to try and sort it out and everything, but because of the internet. But I just sat there and I was thinking to myself, this really is one of those games where they've jammed a 1-0 goal and that's it. I could not watch the match right now for the rest of this 45, and I know that's the final score. And lo and behold, it was 1-0. It was always because Millwall, with the greatest of respect for a team on red hot form, scored the goal. All right, the penalty, which we'll get to later. But that aside, Chris, what did they really create? Because it feels like we're so centred on shoring things up and only conceding 1 goal or less, which we're struggling to do that at the best of times, but we lack so much impetus going forward. I don't remember the keeper making a save of any note, Chris. At least we made the Hull goalkeeper make a few saves.
I think he did. We'll come on to the stats later, but I certainly get your point that you're making. And just to come back to you, Steve, we were saying Carranza only had 1 effort on goal in 60 minutes. Jordan Ayew had no efforts at all in 76.
Well, yeah. So I was having a chat to the guy next to me, and he said, "Oh, if we had a shot this second half," and I was like, "Nope, I don't think we've had one." And then it could 5 minutes later we finally had a shot, but it wasn't on target. That is an issue, a significant issue, because if you can't get shots on target or just have a shot in general, you're not going to score goals. So if you go a goal down, you're never going to get back into the game. And I think it's a tactics issue more than anything. The players are in the right places to an extent, but there just doesn't seem to be any emphasis on getting the ball into the box. We look at Abdul, who seems to cut inside and have a shot every sort of 4 or 5 minutes. You got Monga, who can take on a player, but when he's not feeling it, he doesn't do it, so he cuts back inside. Where have the players gone? Like we did against Hall against the second half, where Abdul would get hold of the ball and try and get past the defender on the outside. Where's that? Where's the kicking the ball into the box and hoping it rebounds, somewhere, and we can maybe nick one off somebody's arse into the back of the net? It just isn't happening.
Brad, you used to be a goalkeeper. I know it's a big secret, but you are in the goalkeepers union. Why, Delilah? Yeah. Why? Is Stelarczyk still passing the ball out to a midfielder in Winks' case, who had a player literally right behind him? What? Why? Why are you doing that? Then Winks had to make a really quick pass, and I think we ended up losing the ball. It went out for a throw-in because he's got that back player right behind him.
Because it almost feels like the managerial thing that's not changed with this pass it out the back, because it happened under Cooper, it happened under Rude, and it's happening under Marty, is if it's not Vestergaard, it's Faze. And if it's not Faze, it's Vestergaard. And if it's neither of them two, it's Winks. That's all you can pass it to, Stelarczyk. That's who you give the ball to when we try and build an attack, because it's got to go to someone who can either run with it or pass it. And they're the 3 players that I'm trusting you to pass the ball to. Because you're telling me, now I know West Ham are dire and it's absolutely hilarious, but you're not telling me that when Hermansen was flying in the Championship and was allowed to kick it where he wanted, we were doing far better giving it to the opposition in their half and winning it back and causing pressure than we are losing it 40 yards outside our own goal. It just blows my mind that managers still are persisting with this niche style of fancy play football when, hold on a minute, if they've committed 9 bodies forward and only have 1 centre-back and we've got Carranza or Ayew on the halfway, we've got, obviously he's out injured now, but we've got Ramsey, we've got James, we've got Fatu and Amonga who are going to be further up the pitch. Launch it long. If he craps his pants and makes a mess of it, he's going to have 4 players bearing down on him to try and win the ball and get us on the counter. I don't understand why every manager, and it pretty much is, maybe not every, but it's like 95% of managers from Premier League to League Two, play it to your passers, play it to your target men.
Interestingly, before the season started, I was speaking to ex-Leicester City defender Julian Watts, who's now coaching, but he's actually coaching a reserve side for a non-league side, if that makes sense. And I was talking to him about this, and he said it's how it's played now. Even he's doing that at that level, you know.
Why are we conditioning it, Chris?
I don't know. But Steve, think of me as somebody who knows nothing about football. I know that's probably going to be very easy for you, but presume that I've just come in and,
I'm there. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I'm American or whatever. But explain to me why, when it's a goal kick for Leicester, that Vestergaard takes that goal kick and passes it a couple of yards across the goal to Solarczyk.
So the reason being is it is to invite the press onto you, so then you can pass out quickly and then break up the field quickly because you've got players committed forward. So there's space in behind. The issue with that, and especially at Leicester City, is that yes, you can happily pass it between Wout-Fass and Vestergaard and Solarczyk pretty easily. They won't give the ball away 90% of the time. Include Harry Winks in that as well, because they're good players. Maybe even Ricardo. But when Ricardo isn't an option to pass it to, they go the other side, and that's Luke Thomas, who just can't pass the ball. Like the amount of times at the weekend, he got hold of the ball and he passed it out of play or he gave it away to their team because he panics on the ball. So the reason being is because they want players to push up into that 18-yard box and then leave space behind. So Winks can drop into the middle, lay it back to Vestergaard, who then has an option to turn or play it long and the space in behind. But because everybody's doing it, everyone knows what's going to happen. So, you just cancel each other out. Last season, I think I saw the ball hit long more times after we conceded a goal because the keeper went, I've had enough, and kicked it out of the, picked it up from the goal that we can concede up to the kickoff again, than I did see long balls the entirety of the season. So yeah, it's a system that can work, but you have to have the players to do it. And we don't have a couple of players that can do that role anymore.
I still think, it still drives me absolutely batty. It really, really does. If anybody's got a bonfire spare and they need a guy, contact Manchester City and see if they can put Pep Guardiola on the top, because he's brought all this fucking shit football to the. It looks like you can afford £10 million players.
Yeah. But this is what winds up. I'm sorry, Chris. I will be quickly added to it. Why is every manager? Because managers in the 90s and 2000s seem to have their own independence and their own brain. But why is every manager going, he's got 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 250. He's got about £1 billion worth of talent on the pitch. That's probably why they can do it. My players can't do that. But I'm going to make them. You know what I mean? Just have your own brain. Use your own system.
Whatever you say, and I know Sean Dyche has now gone to Nottingham Forest, but whatever you say, he will make the best of the players he's got.
Hmm.
And
he did play out from the back against Porto on Thursday. So he did do that goal kick on Thursday. So he is doing it still.
Yeah, but then
I hate you, Steve.
the win against Bournemouth and lost.
Welcome back, Brad. Nice to have you back. Talk to me about the subs in general, though. Faye's on for Thomas. Daka, I didn't even realise Daka was on the pitch. I've got to be honest with you. I think I was actually saying, oh God, let's get Daka on. At least he'll close down. I think somebody said he's been on 5 minutes. Thomas on Silko Thomas on for Monga. Carranza on for Ramsey and Mavadidi on for Ayew. Any in there? Again, I don't know. Was Carranza the right person to bring on for Ramsey?
I think in the way that I talked about earlier, potentially yes, because you use his build, you use what he's known to do, which is he's a taller striker than what we've got available to us. He'll get up in the air, he'll win the ball. and he'll either flick it on or actually bring it down and control it quite well, because he can, to a degree, hold the ball up, unless he has his theatric moments where he throws himself to the floor. But you have that to flick on for Daka. You have that to flick on for RU. It's a bit better. Obviously, as well, it didn't help that it was an enforced change, because I imagine, you know, Marty would probably wanted another 10, 15 minutes or whatever time it was when it happened for him to have come off, not be enforced into it because of an injury. But, and I know I'm going to get a couple of minutes to talk about it later, so I won't do too much on it. I think we saw the potential Leicester future back line when he took Thomas off and had us go 3 at the back.
Yeah.
I think that's the sort of
interesting you should say that, because if anybody is not doing anything tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, tune in to the Foxes Forum when I've got 2 guests on who will be bringing in their chosen choice of formation with the players that are available to play on Saturday. So it may not be the 4-2-3-1. They may be coming with a 4-4-2 or a 9-1-1 or whatever, but they'll be coming in with their chosen formation and things to try. Steve, Ronald's just said then, doesn't matter what system you play if the player's attitude stinks. Now, Marty's come out and said he responds to common accusation levelled at Leicester City players. Marty insists the Leicester City squad care and that they're suffering through the poor form too. Bollocks, is it? Again, is this another thing that Marty's saying because he knows we want to hear it? You're on mute, mate.
in most sense he spoke.
All right, part-timer. Yeah, that's right. You go off camera.
Hold on. Some of us carry the shows on other occasions. We have to carry you to get you on here. He insists.
Actually, if I can merge you both.
Let me have this moment. Shut up, Chris. Let me have this moment. Yeah, see, me and Chris, we're the hard workers here. We do lots of shows. You have your part-time 45 minutes now.
I do other shows too, and I go watch the team. So, you know,
He does, unfortunately, Brad, you on very a sticky ground there, because he used to do a show virtually every night for me at 6 o'clock when the transfer was. And can I just say as well, Brad, that if we could combine you two together, I'd have one really good guest on, because you use your mic a lot, Brad. And Steve, your camera doesn't keep going off. So between the pair of you, if I merge you, I've got a good guest. But anyway, Steve, going back to what you actually
Rad, off we go together.
Yeah, I would say half the stuff that Marty says you could take it with a pinch of salt. It's all, in my opinion, it's all bollocks that we all want to hear. But actually, does he mean it? Who knows? At the end of the day, he knows that if he doesn't do a good enough job, he's going to get sacked and get a big payout. So does it really matter to him? Probably not.
Well, he's put, was it 250 or 500,000 pounds in himself?
Yeah, but he's getting that back. You know, with a sign-on clause, you know, he'll pay the money to QPR, and then Leicester will give him a nice signing-on bonus that will cover that. So I wouldn't, like, he's not hard done to. He's not living in poverty, is he?
He's a manager, not a player. He's not earning 50 grand a week.
Yeah, he's not living in the YMCA. You know, he's doing it,
but it's not on that rounds, you know.
But in this sense, like, I just think that, yes, he comes out and says what we want to hear because it takes some of the heat off. The reaction during the game from the away fans on Tuesday and Saturday, bear in mind, I didn't see the full time, but I heard it was quite negative. There was a lot of boos, a lot of, you know, you're not fit to wear the shirt. If he comes out and says, oh, well, you know, I think the fans are a bit entitled, you know, we're in a learning process at the moment, we're trying to rebuild the club, he's going to get more and more abuse, isn't he? So I think we have to take what he says with a pinch of salt, because what he says is what every other manager has said in the entirety of history of football of, well, you know, we're trying on the football pitch. We do like it here. You know, the players are trying. Okay, you might say that, mate, but I don't see half the players trying on the fucking weekend or Tuesday night. You know, it's not them that is paying the money to travel up to these places hundreds of miles at a time to watch that dross every week. You know, they're paid for the privilege of playing. We're paying for the privilege to watch that crap.
I can't argue. Brad, what does he do? Well, no, we'll come on to Marty later. Sorry, I forget we've got Marty coming up. Had Marty not, you said, like, can we talk about Marty? That was fine. Had we not done, my spotlight on this week would have been Thomas.
Why didn't we go with that? That would have been way more entertaining.
Well, we're going to talk Thomas now.
Okay, perfect.
That was an agreement.
Thomas
So
the tank engine or Luke? Which one?
Luke, obviously. But no, in fact, that was the agreement I had to do, Steve, to get him not to put Samari in there again. But Thomas, I'll come to you first, Brad, and then I'm going to same question to Elm. So here's the question. For the first time since last season, I reintroduced in the post-match reaction Donkey of the Match. And 1, 2, 3, 4 of us all went for the same player, Luke Thomas.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, what is happening with Christensen? I know he's still got his mask on, but he's come on as a sub before, but he wasn't even on the bench this time. What encouragement are these players being given? If Thomas sits there and thinks, I'm pretty safe here, because it is like at the moment Thomas or Christensen, isn't it? But we can all see, and I've stood by Luke Thomas, and we had a lot of time when we were desperate and we needed him. I love it when Steve walks into his background, but he was awful, wasn't he?
It was, Chris, and you say donkey of the day or donkey of the match or whatever it is you entitled it. I'd say it's donkey of the season so far. If he was to end the season right now, our worst player has been Luke Thomas. I don't know what happened, because he came back to us and he got given a second, third, lease of life at Leicester, and he just doesn't seem to want to or be able to take it with, grab the ball by the horns, as they say. So for me, Chris, it's very right. He was donkey of the day. He was donkey of the last week. He's been the donkey every time he starts. I think the only reason Victor Christensen didn't come on with wearing that mask is because Gotham rang and the Joker had broken out of prison. So maybe that's where he's gone. I'm at the point, though, Chris, all joking aside, where maybe we do adapt Ruud van Nistelrooy's way. We get Aluko on and we put Ricardo on the left or something, because I don't want to see Luke Thomas play for Leicester right now. I don't know what he's offering. The only way I see Luke Thomas playing for Leicester right now is we're 2-0 up, 5 minutes to go. He wants to throw on somebody else to go 5 at the back, and he wants to just shore us up and have a defensive-minded player instead of Victor on. Because that's the way they should be coming on that pitch, Chris. I know it must have been a reoccurrence of the injury or something, or maybe something was assessed, but it's got to be Victor that starts. And then, all right, we're winning the game. Let's see it out. You're more defensive, Thomas. You go on. Because then we feel like we get a good Luke Thomas because he's doing exactly what's asked of him. I don't know. Steve, over to you.
So my issue with... I'm not muted, thank God. Right. My issue with Thomas is that he was sent to Sheffield United and they sent him back. He barely played. He was sent to Middlesbrough. They sent him back. He barely played because he wasn't good enough. So we've gone... he's our starting left back and he's at a club that wasn't deemed good enough to start for them. So why is he the best player that we've got at our club in that position? I think that, yes, it hasn't helped that Christensen has been injured, but looking at his body language on Saturday after he gave the ball away for the penalty, and then 2 minutes later after the penalty, it's just before he came off. Sorry, he passed the ball out of play when there was 2 open players to him 5 yards away. That, for me, shows he has no confidence. And if you play a player that doesn't have any confidence, they're going to get beaten because he doesn't have enough confidence in himself to think that he's a good enough footballer. And he's not. Let's be honest. He's not. He's regressed significantly since when he came on the scene under Brendan Rodgers. And, at this point, as much as Aluko has, he's played in a back four in the youth academy that conceded 3 goals a couple of games ago. He's conceded 4 at the weekend. Is he a worse player than Luke Thomas right now because a young lad that's confident is going to feel like, fuck it, this is my job. This is my position now. I'm not giving it back up to these full-time professionals. So I think you have to make a choice of whether or not change the formation to a 3 at the back, so you don't have to incorporate Luke Thomas, or just take him out entirely. You know, he's not worth it. And the fact we gave him a 4-year deal because of some potential sell-on value. Look, at the moment he's not getting a packet of skips for him. So
don't say skip. Curse word. Don't. What's it? Don't say skip.
Scott says there, are we trying to say the consistently starting player as the worst player this season? Quite possibly. Ronald makes a good point. Enzo realised that position as a weakness when he bought Doyle on loan a couple of seasons ago. Is this the position, just to stay with you, Elm, is this the position we need to look at? We said the other day possibly a striker was the only player we need to try and spend money on if we can on January. Is the left backer someone we need to look at as well? I mean, we're allowed 5 loan players, and I think we've got 4 in already, haven't we?
3, haven't we? Carranza,
James and Ramsey.
Yeah.
And what about the goalkeeper?
They're both on free transfers, weren't they?
Oh, both of them are free, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, I think we need to look at replacing that left side entirely, because the another sort of tactical thing is that if you have Jeremy Mulga who doesn't track back and Luke Thomas who doesn't defend on your left side, you're going to get beaten week in, week out, you know.
Yeah.
And I saw a comment at the weekend saying that if you play Monga and Thomas together, that's like committing a war crime. And I completely agree, because it is like committing a war crime, to my eyes at least. So, yeah, I would say we need to improve that position, or bring a Luco through, give him till January, see how he performs, because he can't be any worse.
He can't. Is that the problem, Brad? Is the problem with Luke Thomas? Because I remember 2 seasons ago, Mavididi and Fatawu were really doing a lot of defensive work. They were getting back and doing their fair share, which they don't necessarily seem to now. But Monga, let's be honest with you, he can't defend a toffee, can he? Let's be honest with you. And is that the problem when you got him and Thomas together?
Yeah, it is, because like you just said, Monga's not very adept to getting back and tackling. Fatawu doesn't do it as much as he did 2 years ago, but I think that's more a system change, that he wants to have that option to try and break the line and have our pace players further forward. But it's the big thing when you've got a left back that doesn't copy what the right back does, which is Ricardo, or when Hamza's played a Hamza, because they push on and support Fatawu on that right hand side, or Silko when he comes on. That gap is 65, 70 yards between your left winger and your left back. It is a criminal offence, because they need to be in communication, supporting each other. I know I'll get a segment to talk about that one, to how we fix that potentially and change it, but it just cannot happen. You've either got to tell Luke Thomas to switch on, be alert, and tell him to get forward, or like Steve said, you've got to put someone else there who actually will do that and play that. I mean, I think someone's just mentioned
Tom's just come in. It's a shame the club messed up with Koulibaly. I could do with him as an option now, really, for both right back and left back.
This one, I think Andy Impey could do a job at left back for us still. And he's in his 50s, so...
Who, sorry?
Andy Impey. It can't be any worse than Luke Thomas.
Oh, that's what you said.
We'll send a message to Pontus Kamark. Now while we're at it, let's go.
Yeah, Ryan McGivern looks like a world-class footballer compared to Luke Thomas.
Looks good. Let's be honest.
Who's the guy we got from? We got him on loan from Wolves, and he was absolutely shite.
Ryan Bennett.
Right, yeah. Ryan Bennett, yeah.
Gordon's nephew.
There we go. Daddy Chips, Ryan Bennett or Luke Thomas? Go on, Steve.
Oh, no.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Ryan
you
Bennett.
started bringing these players up.
Yeah, Ryan Bennett. There you go. Yeah.
Wow, Brad.
I'd rather Ryan Bennett.
God almighty, that's how bad
That's how bad it's got. That's genuinely how bad it's got.
Steve, look. Not your favourite thing. Can I just say for the momentum chart at the bottom that actually Leicester are in yellow, but courtesy of who scored and FootMob, Leicester, there are no significant strengths. Never a truer word said.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. There was nothing at the weekend that made me think, oh, we're doing something well here.
weaknesses were poor at finishing, and styles. They showed no specific style of play. I mean, for fuck's sake, for somebody who knows football, and I'm presuming these guys do, give them credit, to sit there and go, like, I've just watched Leicester play for 90 minutes. Well, it was more like 47 or something like that we actually played. And I can't define a style of play. For fuck's sake, Brad, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean, Martin, may I just say, mate, when I said I was sick of us being a 45-minute team, that didn't mean I want us to be a 0-minute team. I wanted us to be a 90-minute team because, like I said, Chris, we got the better lineup and we somehow got a worse performance than losing to Hull. And I know people could say Hull took the foot off the gas. Well, you only play what's in front of you. It wasn't our fault that they tried everything in their power to give us opportunities to make it 2-2 that night. At least we threw something at them. I think we had 11 Chilwells on the pitch against Millwall, if I'm being honest with you, Chris, because it felt like they all pooed themselves every time a Millwall player got near them. Because they just. I
will say the atmosphere at Millwall is bloody atrocious. Like did you know the whole it's an intimidating place to go? It's not. They made one sort of chant where they go, oh, that's it. It's not intimidating. So I don't know how anyone could shit themselves at that ground.
Yeah. Just out of interest here, 99 minutes played, 99 minutes 48 seconds to give its precise timing. Of that, actual play time was 45 minutes 22. And I do use the word play time, thinking that these guys are like 5 and 6 years old, because that's what they do play like. The momentum there. We were never at the game, were we, Steve? We were never at the races.
No, well, the first 10 minutes, it was actually quite good. And then we just seemed to have gone, oh, well, we've not scored, so we'll just give up. We'll just give up.
It seems to be like that, doesn't it, for the first 10 minutes? And then I slowly, bit by bit, as I was watching it, I'm going, they're getting back into this. We're letting them back into this.
Yep.
Now they're on top. It's right. Let's talk, because I'm going to go back to Luke Thomas, because he was at fault for their goal. I'm sorry. He should have done better. I don't even think he got his foot off the ground when it came to trying to out-jump the guy. And it was right down the centre and over the top of still Archie. So he was at fault for that. And then I know Winks gave the penalty away, but I can't actually blame Winks because he had no choice, because Thomas played him into that position, Brad. And this is why Thomas is my donkey of the match.
Yeah, it's just a disaster waiting to happen. It's a ticking time bomb. When will Luke Thomas make a mistake that's going to cost Leicester in one way or another? And he did it twice at the weekend, the goal and the penalty. Obviously, I had to watch it back because I had issues with watching the first half because I was working. So, it's one of them. But yeah, how long can it continue? I used to say, and I don't know if you know this, right? I did keep it under wraps. I didn't call him out or anything. But I used to say when we played Iosi Perez, it was like playing with 10 men. It feels like we're playing with 10 men, but instead of it being 11 versus 10, we're actually giving the opposition an extra player, so it becomes 12 versus 10 because he's been that useless in the position. It's like his head's completely forgone. If you've ever seen the movie Space Jam where the little aliens take the NBA basketball players' talent and they can't dribble or do anything, they're useless. It feels like that's happened to Luke Thomas, but the poor aliens...
It's not real, that film.
I know, but it almost feels like that's what's happened to Luke Thomas, but the poor aliens have gone, oh, we got crappy talent. Oh.
Chris, explain to me why he's been swapped out for a sausage roll then, because that's what's happened. Brad is completely correct. Luke Thomas is now a sausage roll. He's got more holes in him than a pincushion.
Can I just say, don't... you'll have to wait with me because I just need to bring this up. But talking of sausage rolls, where is it? Don't tell me I've not got it anymore. Here we go.
Where you're going, your father will never find you.
Welcome back, Dave.
I know it's Halloween soon, but that was uncalled for. That was scary seeing Luke Thomas in the flesh.
What made you make that in the first place?
Sleep deprivation.
Is it best we keep your what you do in your own time, Chris, to yourself? Is that what we're saying?
No. You can't actually find this on a show. I was doing a show with Kate and Dave, and Dave takes more U-turns on a show than Brad does. You know what I mean? If you could have a human sat nav, I would sit in with Dave on a show because he just goes off everywhere. And love him to bits, but he does. And we I don't know what we were. I think it was coming up towards Christmas, and he was saying, we were talking about eating food and what have you, and he started to say that he used to eat sausages frozen straight out the fridge, or cold sausages, and we're like, what? And then he went on to, we got this joke, he became a sausage joke, and where he lives, he can get these lovely sausages. But this pack that he showed us, we could only count 9, and there should have been 10. And then it became a case of hide the sausage. And it just, you had to be there. Let me just say, you had to be there. Okay.
Yeah, Mom, I guess so.
Yes. But that's what happens when you mention sausages, you see. You don't get this on PTG, do you, eh? Let's be honest with you. Although I'll probably have Port Farms ringing me up now, accusing me of being detrimental to them.
Look, Chris, if you like to play hide the sausage, you can do that in your own time.
My trouble is at my age, I never bloody find it again. But, I know I left it somewhere. I don't know where it is. But yeah, I mean, you've got to leave Thomas out on Saturday, haven't you, Steve?
I would like so. My issue now is that if he doesn't and he plays him on Saturday, then that is going to be a significant X in his column of bad decisions. Because it's all well and good a striker trying to play their way into form, because you've got people that can take up that slack for you. You can't do that as a defender. If you're not in form as a defender, you're going to get punished.
Yeah. They had 9 shots, we had 12, Brad. They had 4 on target, we had 3.
You sure?
That's confusing because we were yellow in the last slide with the momentum, but they're yellow here.
Team, because this is the BBC, and the BBC has the home team in yellow and the away team in black. Right, this is the bottom one there is Foot Mob, and they always try and match the colours up. But I don't think pink works for them, so that's fine. Because the other week Leicester were in blue when we were home.
Yep. And
it does get confusing. I accept, but it is what it is. I can only work with the tools I've got, but I do like both of you, so I always have your back. So, talking of tools, Brad.
You wonder why I went AWOL for 2 weeks, Steve.
3 shots on target. I don't remember them. Do you?
No, there must have been P-rollers to the goalkeeper because I don't, like I said, Chris, I do not remember a significant save that keeper had to make where you thought, that could have been a goal. In fact, I do remember one of them on target was a P-rolling header from Daka from about 8 yards out, which, I mean, you could run back, you could drive back to Millwall right now and still save it. It was that weak. So, yeah, no, it wasn't great. Our worst game of the season. For me, in terms of
defensively, Steve, half the tackles that they made, we made 14, they made 28, although we did win 78% of those. 2 yellow cards. Ricardo does Ricardo want to rest and he's trying to collect yellow cards? Because he seems to be most of his yellow cards. I mean, he's had about 3 in the last 4 games or something. And this one, he was just arguing with the referee all game.
Yeah, I'm wondering with Ricardo, because I've seen in the last 2 or 3 games, he's looked really off it. So is this the point where we're at with Ricardo where the game's passing him by and, he's not up to where he was previously? Yeah, look, some of the fouls at the weekend, the referee didn't have a very good game, in my opinion.
Oh, it was awful. It was totally awful.
He missed a fair amount of fouls that should have been fouls and gave fouls that probably weren't fouls. But
Most
then I
of
sound like
those weren't by Millwall's Cooper, were they?
that penalty that we probably should have had a penalty in that second half with that attack on Abdul, but we run the risk of sounding like butthurt fans saying we should have had this, we should have that. At the end of the day, we didn't get it, and you played to the whistle at this point, and it just felt like Leicester were a bit weak all over the pitch.
Looking then at distribution here, look, we made more passes.
That's a win.
Yeah, we we got a better pass accuracy. 356 passes we made. Almost 54 of those were back passes, and 128 were forward passes. So, without doing the maths, that's a lot of side-to-side passes, Brad.
Yeah, it is, and it's a little bit of a regression from how we started under Marty. The first couple of games, you would have thought, okay, the performances haven't been up to scratch. We were putting that down to, no preseason, managers new way. But at least it felt like we were putting the ball forward more than it is. And maybe this is just a one-off case. Maybe if we look back at all the other games, we'll say, oh, well, more balls were passed forward than that. But it does feel like this was a game where some players started to doubt what they could do this in this game. Because, not just the whole mantra around Millwall and the sort of thing that people put around playing a Millwall side, but the fact that we were struggling for form ourselves, and we're coming up against a team that are now, a result goes their way at the weekend, they'll be in the automatics with Coventry. You couldn't get two scummier teams in terms of prospects in the automatics, could you? Coventry and Millwall. God, that's weird. But no, it just shows that maybe the occasion got to them and the mentality of it. Because it is a bit concerning that we kind of pooed ourselves. That's what I said. We had 11 Chilwells on the pitch. We didn't go forward with it. Also, Steve, may I just say, you couldn't have picked a worse/better picture to have as your background. Because if you just went like that just a little bit with your arms and stood up a little bit, I think it was you taking... No, it's Millwall. It's Millwall. Get him. Get him. He looks like he's blended into the Millwall shirt player and he's just getting chased down. I've noticed it since the start. Yeah, there you go. It's now just Millwall.
I just saying earlier, Steve, I love it when you get up and walk back into the...
Yeah.
Looks like you're going to sort them out. You're like, come in. You're going to fill you in.
We could do with you on the pitch. Look, there was only one goal, unfortunately. If you're going to say to a striker or any player where to score a goal, the middle top, you couldn't get more perfect. And that's exactly what Aziz did. And I have to say, if you're talking about both teams, he was my player of the match.
Yeah, he had a good game. I'm not denying that at all. But in that scenario, Jakub should be doing much better than that. If it's in the middle of your goal, like they say, don't get beaten at your near post. If somebody shoots at you and it's in the middle of the goal and it goes above your head, that's poor goalkeeping.
Brad, you're the goalkeeper. Would you agree?
Yeah, before I got a chance to see it, I heard, it was a long ball over the top. And he's put it straight over the middle, over Stolarczyk and internet. I thought, where are you stood then, Stolarczyk? Because you've just been beat straight centre of your goal. That should be, even if you're 3 yards off your line, you should be able to save that. Look, credit to the Millwall player. He tried something kind of, and it worked for him to just drill it over the top of Stolarczyk. He should be doing something there. Centre of your goal, getting beat in near posts, they're criminal for goalkeepers. You should be saving it. If you'd have put it top bins, you'd have gone, fuck me, he's got no chance of moving that quick to get anywhere near it. But looking at how dead central the goal it is, it's not like he's run 30 yards off his line to try and stop him being throw on goal, on his own and no defence around. He's just been beat because he's just showing his...
Yeah, looking at the shots there, Steve, again, look, I have always been saying, like, if you don't take shots, you're never going to score. And if you've got the ball and got a chance of a shot, then, take it. It might hit somebody's arse and go in. Fataru had an amazing chance, and he had two players to the left of him, both who were open, and he decides to have a shot. over the top. And you're thinking, I'm fed up with saying this, pass the fucking ball. Will somebody go up to Fatawu and say, excuse me, Abdul, you do know that you're not Lionel Messi, don't you?
Well, you could say that about Jordan Ayew as well. These players that hold on to the ball too much. So,
that was the obvious one.
But like with Abdul, I saw that, and we were all shouting, "Play it in space, play it in space," and he had a shot, and we were all like, "Why?" But I think that's because he's trying too hard to be the main figure of this team. Because let's be honest, at the moment it seems to be, we'll pass it to Abdul, and hopefully he does something with it. So I think he's just trying a bit too hard.
Okay. I'm going to go now and get another drink because I've drunk all my drink. So Brad's waving at me.
Yeah, I see you said you were going, so I thought I'd wait.
Oh, right.
At least we turned up, Brad.
Yeah, I know, right? At least we stay. At least when we are here as well, we stay. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't. I sometimes walk off and come back, but
don't let him know that. Come on.
He was off to tackle the Millwall striker, and Brad goes off camera to do God only knows what. But as long as you got your tissues handy, Brad, that's all that matters. Right, Brad, I'll come to you first, and then over to Steve. And this is why I'm just going to get a drink because you wanted to talk about him. Here we go.
Yeah, see, the thing is with Marty is there's a lot of things about results and how things are going at the moment. And obviously, on Saturday, the performance, I still say collectively for 90 minutes, it was our most dire performance because it seemed to go. Now, we talked earlier in the season, Marty maybe has a plan B. He likes to change things up. I think if you look at everything in its circumstance, the injury now that's occurred to Ramsey probably puts that back even further. We talked about how Marty maybe has a plan B. I actually have a sneaking suspicion that if everybody was available, everybody was fit and everybody was up to standard and could play 90 minutes, what we actually saw change in the Millwall game, and we've seen it throughout the season actually, normally about the 70th to 80th minute mark, depending on how the game's going, is Marty's actual plan. And that is to play a 3-4-1-2. And I think that suits what we actually have available to us better. You know, what is Marty's actual plan? Now, I'm only speculating, so I'm probably going to get like the formation a little bit wrong here with what I can see. But what seems to happen is he shores the back line up with Faze, Akoli, and Vestergaard. Obviously, we'd all like it to be Nelson, but right now we take Marty as what it is, okay? He then has the option that if he wants to be a bit defensive, his left midfielder and his right midfielder could be Victor Christensen and Ricardo. However, you then have the alternate to swap that for go attacking from the off and have it be, I forgot his name, Fatawu and Monga or Mavididi, and obviously Silko Thomas on the right to give a backup to that. But what it also means is you narrow down that gap between your left back and your left striker, which could be an inverted forward, if you will, which basically means exactly what an inverted right back is. He'll drift out left to come and get the ball, but if you play it through the middle, it'll always be there. And what that allows is you don't then sacrifice a player to lose a position. Because we don't like Luke Thomas at left back, so there's no point having a one-legged donkey out at right back because he won't have the balance on the left-hand side and will be even more predictable of where we're going to try and attack with Ricardo. And furthermore, Ricardo can play centre-back as a cover. So you have that option to put him in that back three line, if you will. You then get James where he should be playing and alongside Harry Winks in that. And then you have Aaron Ramsey. I'm going to take his injury into account. I'm now going to swap that in for Ayew. He's already in the deep role, so he's not having to waste his energy dropping back into that role. He's already there. He then becomes the hold-up man, the flick-it-on man for Carranza and Daka as one of the strikers, and then you give free roam to Monga or Fatawu on that left. If they're already not playing the left and right back roles, you then have Mong on the left, Fatu on the right of the midfield roles. You've got Daka and Carranza up front. Play that style. Have two up front in a 4-3-1-2.
Your thoughts, Elm?
I think, yeah, you're right. Playing two up top fits Daka. He did well at Salzburg with two up top. I mean, let's be honest, his strike partner was Erling Haaland, so I think that's going to help anybody. And then you would then also work with Carranza as well, who can be that sort of target man, the big beefy boy up top. It would also shore up the defense a bit more. So yeah, I think that could be a case. But my feeling is that Marty won't change it. He's married to his system for the time being. He's going to carry on putting those round pegs in square holes, and we're all going to get so sad.
We are. Right, everybody. It's Jordan time. This is going to be interesting. Can I just say, you won't know this, Brad, because you weren't here last week. But last week, Steve, it was actually quite harsh, wasn't he, Jordan?
Yeah, to an extent where even I was like, bloody hell, Jordan. Did they shit in your cornflakes or something? Why are you being so mean to everybody?
Yes, we'll send you an abridged version, Brad. Right, so here we go. You add your ratings in, anybody who's watching. If you want to add your ratings in for these players, please just write the player down, because by the time your actual thing appears on screen, we're usually 2 players ahead. But we're going to start, obviously, with Stolarczyk. Now, I've got to say here, this was my man of the match, because I think I couldn't give it to anybody else. Steve?
Yeah, I think it's clear that he saved a penalty, which stops him from going 2-0 down. And I think overall he had an okay game. I think a 6, and that's as high as I'm going to go today for everybody.
Brad?
Yeah, I have to agree. Yes, could have done better with the goal, but if there was any way we're getting anything from the point, that penalty save was pivotal. I'm going to give him a 6 as well. If you say football friends, I quit.
I was just going to line it up. He twice denied Aziz with strong low saves with his feet and hands in the first half, although couldn't stop the winger when he went high. And he looked like he might be City's hero when he kept out a second half penalty, but he did not spark a comeback. He did his bit. His teammates didn't. I don't have to tell you this, guys. He got an 8. You see, I think it's Brad's influence. Brad's influence.
An 8?
An 8.
Is he high on cocaine?
I don't know. That rating's higher than that. So, I mean, he might be on stronger stuff. An 8.
Okay. On fentanyl at this point. He's having dreams.
You serious?
He is. He gets an 8. Ricardo.
5. He wasn't. No, even 5 might be. There's no points. It's really annoying. There's no point something. So
There used to be. Somebody took control of it again. Didn't like his 0.5s.
I'll give him a 5. He wasn't the issue, but he wasn't great at the weekend. I think average is best, and that is a 5.
Yeah, and I can't give halves because Jordan doesn't, and it wouldn't match up. Brad,
it's good. We never get it. Oh, sorry, Chris. I don't know what Ricardo's offering us anymore. I agree with what you said earlier. I think maybe his brain and legs have gone, and he just can't do what he's trying to manufacture. Sort of reminds me of Vardy last season. Well done, Mr. Vardy, for your first goal. 3 appearances, 1 goal. Better ratio than any of our strikers. Bring it back. Right. But honestly, if he can't produce what he's capable of over a regular period without needing a rest or a game off or only does 40 minutes because his legs are giving way, he can't be in the team for much longer, I'm afraid, and he can't be captain. I'm going to give him a 3.
A 3. Oof. Steve, you gave him a 5, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
He gets 5 off Jordan. A solid enough game for the skipper without anything special. He looked for interceptions when he could, but otherwise his game was one of completing simple passes and ensuring his winger didn't get past him, which he did. And like I say, and collected a yellow card in the most stupidest fashion ever. And it really does annoy me. He shouldn't be getting yellow cards for arguing with the referee. O'Coley, Steve. We wanted FaZe out. We got O'Coley back.
He did all right. Look, we're going to get with O'Coley. His passing isn't the greatest, but overall he was fairly decent. I think a 6 is fair for him.
So he's made mistakes, Brad, but which probably means that FaZe will be back. But it seems to be that O'Coley makes mistakes in one game, he gets dropped. FaZe makes them in 10 games before he gets dropped.
Yeah, I've always been an admirer of Coley, and kind of touching back on the point of thinking about the future. This guy we only signed last summer, he got a 4-year contract. I like him. I think he's good. I'd rather him make the mistakes he makes than FaZe going on a gallivanting run and losing the ball and leaving Vestergaard on his own. I liked him. I can give him a 6, Chris.
6. He gets a 5 from Ronald, who also gave a 6 for Stolarczyk and a 4 for Ricardo. He got a 5 off Jordan. A classic O'Coley showing, and that he was strong defensively, winning the headers he needed to, and clearing his box under pressure, but also misplacing simple passes that he really should be completing. And I have to say, I know it's Jordan, but I pretty much that sums him up. That sums him up as a player, let alone that performance. Right, Mr. Vestergaard, the Great Dane.
6. See, with Vestergaard, he's clearly our most consistent player this season so far, and I don't think he puts a step wrong. My issue is obviously his pace is quite bad, but then we're trying to negate that by having a quick centre back next to him, in fast at times and O'Coley to an extent. I don't think he's fine. I think he's fine at this level. He does a good job. I think 6 is fair because we still conceded a penalty, but I don't blame him for those.
No. Brad?
Yeah, I think despite the fact that apparently Ben Nelson is itching to play, I mean, he must need to go and see a doctor if he's doing that much itching, and we want to potentially see again the future come in. I can't fault Vestergaard. I really can't. This is his level. We said it 2 years ago, and I stand by it. This is as high a level as he could go, and he's doing an okay job. It's got to be. I like to pair him up more times than not with the rating, so I'm giving him a 6.
You give him a 6, as indeed did Ronald. He gave him a 6 as well.
I thought you might say Jordan. Then I was like, "Fuck."
Would I do that? Would I do that to you?
Football friend.
Yes, indeed. He gave him 6.
That's the first one I've gone with him as well. I was gutted. I was hoping for a clean sweep today.
During City's good start, he played some fine dissecting passes, but they dried up. He had a couple of nervy moments thereafter, but he actually coped well when the game became stretched. I'm only going to do the friends if all 3 of you agree. In fact,
but he's also keeping a tally chart of how many Steve gets and how many I get.
Yep.
Okay. So Steve's got 1 there, and you've got 2-1 ahead. Okay, here we go. Thomas. Oh my God.
Now, is it allowed to give minus numbers, or is it just 0 to 10?
You actually are allowed to give minus numbers, yes. But the thing is, you don't give a minus number just because you know that Jordan's not going to.
No, I'm not going to do it because of Jordan. I'm going to give him a -4. I think that he was the worst player I've seen play for that game on Saturday was the worst performance I've seen from a Leicester player in a very, very long time. Wow. He was scared of the ball. He I don't blame Winks for the penalty. I blame Thomas for giving the ball away. He was beaten quite easily by a striker for their goal. And just overall, he just looks like he's got zero confidence. So for me, historically, I don't think I've ever given a player a minus before, but he gets it. It's a -4.
And it's not just a minus, it is a -4.
Yeah.
Brothers.
Chilled me.
Chill on in disguise. And by that, I don't mean what he could
You
do.
mean Chilwell, the first choice England left back?
No, I mean Chilwell in the FA Cup crapping himself taking a throw-in against Millwall in disguise. Sorry, I'll be more correct and clear for you on that one, Christopher. Zero idea, zero confidence, zero trust in his own ability. So guess what I'm going to rate him?
0.
No, 10. Yeah, 0.
I've written 10 down now.
Oh, screwed it for myself.
And Jordan gave him a 10 as well, actually.
Football friend.
Now, Jordan's gone 3. He actually started the game well.
Did he?
I don't
Did he?
know.
What game was
Which
he
game
watching?
was it?
Was he watching Hull City highlights and thought, I actually did all right then?
No, he was watching the Man U game from COVID where he scored that screamer. That's what it was.
He had the right idea with his passing and stood up to Aziz, but it quickly turned sour as his winger kept getting in behind, including for the goal where he had held off Thomas far too easily. Our favourite redemption player, and he gets a 1 from Ronald. Our favourite redemption player, Mr. Winks.
4. He was really poor at the weekend. I don't blame him for the penalty. But his passing was poor. To an extent, a couple of times it looked like he was pulling out of tackles. So, yeah, a 4 for me.
Brad?
Winks still has that problem, which you brought up about a few players, Chris, that I think when the frustration gets to him and he feels like the effort's gone and the heads are gone a little bit, instead of being that Harry Winks that used to G him up and put an arm around him and go on, we can still do this. He's gone. He's completely gone. 3. His head goes, that's it. We don't have a player on the pitch. We might as well be down to 9 then, in that case.
So you went 4, didn't you, Steve?
I'm guessing Jordan went 4, judging by your reaction.
No, because I knew what was coming. It's now 2-2 because he went 3. So Brad has equalised with you. This is more exciting than the actual scores. No, I'm actually lying. He went 4.
Bollocks.
So it's 3-1.
Oh, my big day out, 3-1.
I would dream of a 3-1 right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Defensively made some big contributions early on, getting himself in good positions to bravely block crosses and shots. But on the ball, he was far more clumsy than he usually is, while he dived in recklessly for the penalty. James.
5. He wasn't great either, but he did his job to an extent. You know, we know what we're going to get with Jordan James. He did try a couple of shots, but yeah, 5. I don't mind agreeing with Jordan. I don't mind it. It is what it is. You know, look, there's a lot of things going well in my life.
Now. I'm not saying you've agreed. Brad?
I'm half tempted just to go as a different number so you can't play the thing again if it is 5. But I have to agree, he's trying everything. If you want to see someone who's actually running around and trying to do something for us, attacking wise, it was James. So let's take the L together if it is that case, Steve. I'll go with you 5 because I can't go 6 because he didn't do anything to stand out. It was a basic 5 performance. Let's take your full friend.
Here it comes.
Oh, friend, football friend.
Woo!
Yes, indeed. He gave him 5, and it is now 4-2 to Steve. He was solid in pretty much every aspect of the game, but nothing more than that. So his influence wasn't as great as it has been recently. He tied in the second half too. That wasn't. No, that was T.O. for 2. That was
I
his.
was going to say, fucking hell.
We're going to miss him. Aaron Ramsey.
Mate, because you can only do it on the first half, can't you? Because he got injured straight after half time.
Yeah.
I give him a 3. He really is he was okay for the first 5 minutes, and then he just completely fell off. Chris, you're ruining the surprise. You're ruining the surprise.
If it helps, right, don't say anything, because when you start talking, not because you're boring, but I know what Chris is like with his facial expressions, so I look down at my phone. Don't you worry.
What we should do is, rather than us giving you the number, we should hold up a piece of paper or whiteboard as we do the Jordan score just at the same time.
I think Chris should go off camera and wait for us to both give it and then just reveal it.
Stop, come on. You know, he's your buddy. What are you giving him, Brad?
Again, it's unfortunate the injury, and there wasn't really a lot to remember from that first half in general. So the fact that he'd obviously come off with the injury, I'm going to give him a 4, because from what I remember, he ran around, but it wasn't bad. It's just, unfortunately, that injury's bugged him up.
Guess what, guys? Guess what?
Well, you can't press it. I know that much.
He gets a 6 from Jordan. Don't always believe my face, gentlemen. Don't always believe my face. What a shame he's pulled up with what could be a serious hamstring injury. Ramsey was City's best player until his early exit. The Loney showing great link-up play and movement during City's flowing attacks, working well in partnership with Ayew and Fatawu to threaten at the top end. And he got a 6. So he completely disagrees with you two. Like I say, never believe my face. Mr. Fatawu.
4. He's really fallen off in the last few games for me, and he's trying too hard. It just wasn't a good performance all around.
Hi, Clibbo. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Brad?
I understand and also agree with the frustrations of Fatawu getting the ball 30 yards out and putting it into Rosed, for 90% of the time. But I also think when you only have 3 shots on target and it feels like you're only 3 shots all game, at least he's shooting. However, he's getting predictable and he's becoming like a broken record, trying the same thing over and over again, to the point the opposition's kind of like, go on then, mate, because unless you're getting goals a week for what you're going to score, we know where it's going, and it's Rosed or straight down the keeper's throat. Yeah. I'm going to be even worse here. I'm giving him a 2. He needs to change something.
I'm going to rush this up now, guys, because of the time constraints. So he gets a 4 off Jordan. 5, Steve, 5. So quickly, if we can rush through these now. Ayew, Steve?
3, completely anonymous.
3, Brad?
Struggle to know who's on the pitch at times. 3.
He gets a 4 off Jordan. His one-touch layoffs and link-up with Ramsey was a big part of City's good start, but he pretty much disappeared after that. Monga?
3, again, completely anonymous, didn't do anything.
Brad?
Didn't help that his left-back partner was in the changing rooms pooing himself, but it wasn't his greatest performance. 4.
Oh, Brad, you've pulled one back. It's 4 off Jordan as well.
Oh, consolation in the last minute.
2 out of 10 for Ayew, says Ronald. Clever said Ramsey was always a risky signing given his injury. I fear another Ricky P, a real shame. If it's that bad, we might, if he is badly injured and he's going to be, we could always send him back, of course, couldn't we? That's what clubs do to us. Amonga gets a 3 for off Ronald. Right, quickly, the substitutes. Carranza, Steve.
4. He ran around a bit. He ran the line a little bit. He did have an overhead kick. It's a shame that he gets most points for being the best looking person on the pitch.
Brad?
I'm going to give him a 5 for actually pulling off the bicycle kick. I know he's going, but
Fair play. I mean, it did look impressive. It was, you know, it's unfortunate it just wasn't anywhere like going to score a goal. Yeah, he did make an attempt, didn't he? 4 he got. I'm sorry, you've gone again there, Steve.
Dominant, Steve. I love it. You get you on the pitch.
Yeah, he likes somebody being dominant, Steve. Be careful.
You know my wife.
Yeah, I know Jess, his girlfriend. Not that well, just before anybody says. About phase.
4. He was fine. Again, I don't. The problem with the subs is that none of them had any impact for me.
Yeah. Brad?
Fair's better in a back 3, 5.
Ooh. Did everything he needed to do in a left-back position. His clearances were a little agriculture at times, though. Sorry, Brad, it's a 5.
Yeah, I want to be the last goal scorer. That's what it is.
So go, Thomas.
Genuinely, it looked like the players were scared to give him the ball for some reason. But when he did get the ball, he was direct and put in a couple of decent crosses. He gets a 6. If he was good.
Yeah, I didn't think he was bad at all. Brad, did you?
He's the only winger I've seen put a cross in that actually matches the height of our players in the box.
Mm-hmm.
That was one standout thing. He wasn't crossing to 10-foot lampposts when we don't have any. Yeah, he looked pretty good. I agree with Steve. I'll take the 6 as well. Yeah.
There were some nice passes in behind, but also some wasteful ones. He gets a 5 off Jordan. Mr. Mavadidi.
I can't give him a number because he barely did anything when he came on. To be honest, I didn't even realise he was on at times. NA.
I'm going to be the same.
NA.
I didn't know he came on, and it's an NA from me. I didn't even know he come on.
Okay. Well, he actually, in fairness, he got a 4 off Jordan.
Yeah.
Ignore. I didn't realise I'd done this.
Off, Chris. Piss right off with that. It's not April. You can't get with them fools now. Come on. Come on. There's a circus in town where you are. If you just put that on for the clown.
I hadn't realised that. Look, for every player on my graphics I've saved, I've got a standard one like that, and just in case they are ever chosen, I've got one like that with man of the match on. Ignore that. That is a mistake.
No, Steve, clip it. 1 hour, 36 minutes. Chris brings up his true man of the match. He's looking there with Blacker. We've got
Disgusting.
him now. All them aggros and jibes at us, Steve. We finally get our revenge. There we are.
Oops, got rid of the wrong one there. All right, forgetting his man of the match, which he obviously wasn't.
Again, NA. I barely noticed he was on the pitch.
NA.
Yeah,
Right.
apart from his number coming up, I didn't know he was on the pitch either. So, sorry, Chris. I know he's your man of the match, but I just can't rate him.
Well, like I said to you, I can't argue with you because I was asking for to come on when he'd been on for 5 minutes. So,
Chris, like that comes on, and Dak was on the pitch waving at him like, "Hello, Chris."
I'm here. Yeah, that's how impressed I was. Hi, Prashant, how you doing? Now, I'm going to read this to you. His pressing and ability to create space for himself was good. He did the best he could with his late header. There just wasn't enough pace on the cross. He actually gets a 5 from Jordan.
Fuck off, Jordan.
It's because Brad's back. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, on the agreement side, Brad, you got 4. Steve? I thought we were going to get into double figures then for a minute. You got 6.
Oh,
Which is probably
worse.
worse than my mistake of putting Daka as man of the match. What are we rating the manager, guys?
4. I just think his.
I'm going to be a bit. Sorry, go on, Steve. You got a bit more to add to your 4.
So I was going to say he gets a 4 because whilst he's making changes in the game and stuff, it doesn't seem like the players are listening to him. I think that he's just a mid-table, mediocre championship manager at this point.
Yeah. Brad?
I'm going to give him a 5, but only because I feel like the plan he had set out for the game and how to potentially change things was completely thrown out the window, not just with the injury to Ramsey, but prior and just before the game, that meant he didn't have certain people on the bench to potentially change it up more. And sometimes it's out of your hands. He doesn't send them out there to play like dog shit. They did that themselves. So I'll give him a 5 because it wasn't tactically got things wrong. It was following the tactics that the players got wrong that cost us the game, in my opinion.
I think I'd give him a higher score if he did come out and say, look, I sent them out there to play like dog shit. And they did exactly that. I'd be like, Marty, you did all right, actually.
Yeah. You know what? I asked them to be shitting in the pants. I showed them the highlights of Chilwell being scared to take a throw in against Millwall. I said, I want this commitment into the game. And that's what they delivered in. He'd get annoyed.
Like, here's Gary Lineker. Like, here's a clip of Gary Lineker doing it. Just do that. Paula Radcliffe at the side of the road, you know.
I've actually been harsher than you two because I've gone a 3 because we should have done better with this team that he put out. I don't know what's going on. I don't believe this. They're doing this on the training pitch. As I said last week, Steve, I don't give a fuck what they're doing on the training pitch. It's what they do in the 90 minutes. And if they're not listening to him, why is he still picking them?
Exactly.
And Ronald's gone 1 out of 10 for him. Right. I think this. Get ready for this to be cocked up because I can see that this is not in the right order.
Here's Patson Daka.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Patson Daka.
No. It is the right way round. Man of the match, Steve.
I gave it to Jakob.
Yep.
I'm back in the goalkeepers union. No, actually, no, I'm not. I'm glad he played. I'm glad he got 90 minutes. A Coley. It might be the only time we say that this season.
Okay. Well, the official man of the match, courtesy of Alan, obviously, who was there with you, Steve.
If it's Winks, we need to have words.
Has given it to Salarchik as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Team rating.
Oh, 1. 1, and that's a like, you know, the best I can give them. I would give them less than that if I really felt like it. But 1, they were atrocious.
I've just read Ronald Daka. Oh my God, 0 out of 10. But he also said Cifuentes, give him some prunes and let him go gardening again. 1 out of 10.
Let me tell you, I'm swearing by prunes at the moment. I am constipated to shit. Well, not even shit. I'm just constipated, and prune juice has been a god save.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
well done at lasting 1 hour 43 minutes without having to nip off.
That's the problem, Chris. I'm not shitting. That's the problem.
No, if you had your prune juice,
True.
He's actually sat on one of them porta potties right now. That's all we can't see because he's sat on one of them.
Cut out the middleman, just in and out.
That's why he disappeared to empty
rating.
Only because literally 2 players I can think of that I remember seeing genuine effort from. I'm going to give them a 2 because I don't remember a standout performance of anyone really doing anything good. So, 2.
No. In fact, in fairness, I gave them a 2 as well, which was the same as I gave them for Hull. And the official rating was 3 and that's the problem. I tell you what, that's probably the lowest, bar 1, I've ever seen Alan give a performance. So for him, that is bad. Right, the table. If I'd said to you after 12 games, Steve, that we'd be, and I know I said this to you last week, that all right, we'd still be top half. And we'd be the highest placed of the 3 relegated teams. Would you have taken that?
No. I would say that if you said to me, we've won 4, drawn 5 and lost 3, I would say that was poor. as a start. I think we should
the
be.
team that we've come down with.
Yeah, even with the team we came down with, because on paper, and I know it's not played on paper, we have one of the better squads in this league still. And I thought Marty would be in a situation where he would sort of kick some of these players up the arse and turn things around, or at least get a lot of points on the board at this stage. I think this season, now, it is a case of we are a mid-table championship side potentially pushing for the playoffs. That's it. We've got to accept it, because when we get a 9-point deduction or even a 12-point deduction, we're going to be in the relegation zone, and automatics is gone. I think that's really gone.
Brad, 3 promoted teams are not in the bottom 3 in the Premier League. The 3 relegated teams are not in the top 3 in the Championship.
Yeah, that won't last. Not with Burnley, it won't. Sorry, Dan, it just won't. But Sunderland, my God, fair play to them. Absolutely 100% credit to them. It's not too great a reading, but I just feel like we'll do enough to sneak in the playoffs come the end of the season. But I'd also fear us going up, if that makes sense. As much as I like the idea of, obviously, you always want to be Premier League, I just feel like we'd end up just becoming the new West Brom. I'd take 8th and higher as a good season for me, given what I've seen of these first 12 games.
Indeed. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. I didn't have to get my tin hat out. I thought I would. We've got Blackburn at the weekend. There will be no show next Monday because I will be sunning myself in Lanzarote, where it is a lot warmer than here. So there's no shows at all that week. So you can all go away and put your feet up and spend time with the other halves. But thank you very much, gentlemen. Elm, always there. Always my rock. You're my rock, mate. Thank you very much.
Captain.
You know what, Steve? The day you can't come on because you've got the shits or something, I'm going to remember this day.
Well, it'll be December time for me because there's a few midweek games that I can't do it because I'm at some gigs after so that'll be my. But then I've already pre-warned Chris about that. I told him in August that there's going to be December's a worst month for me.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine with the travelling as well. It's not easy. To be honest with you,
it's not the travelling; it's the work. December's our busiest period.
Trying to go around. But also, to be honest with you, if there's a midweek game coming up in the next week or so, I'm fucked anyway. So I'll be back to square one.
Right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm stood here playing with my mic.
Is that what you call it now? No, you've not.
Yeah, that's my nickname for it. And do you not name yours? Oh, no, there's a joke I can't go with there. Guys, look, I'm going to say thanks very much. I need to nip to the shop before it closes, otherwise I'm going to starve. I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks very much, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. And thanks very much to everybody that's been in the chat. Really do appreciate it. We'll be back in an hour, 9:30, with the what is it? We'll be back with something. The Championship Review with me and Tom. I will see you there. Thanks very much. Like, share, subscribe, and via your podcast if you've been listening to us. Thank you very much for lending us your ears. I'll see you in an hour.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.